This is Lemon's Car Spotting. You post to Instagram with the hashtag Lemon's Car Spotting. We pick the hooptiest.
They are so incredibly terrible.
And which one we want to become a real Lemons build.
It does car-like things. I've been pushing for one of those in Lemons too, and those are very affordable.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Lemon's Car Spotting here on the 24 Hours of Lemons YouTube channel. I'm Eric, that's Nick over there, and you guys know how this works. Crappy cars, we talk about them. One of us picks the hooptiest, one of us picks the one who will be the one who we would like to most see built for Lemons. Words are hard, and Nick is going to be the one telling me when to stop as I am doing our patented choosing method with the car we would want to see built for Lemons, the hooptiest, and here we go.
Stop.
That's my right hand, so Nick will be picking the hooptiest, and
Excellent.
I will be picking the Lemons build.
Let us go. Righty. K-Van. So for those who don't know, Judge Phil is the recent owner of a Subaru Sambar. This appears to be a Suzuki.
Yep. Carry, Suzuki Carry.
Yeah,
I believe.
Carry. There you go.
Yep.
I mean, what's there not to like about a K-Van? The only I took a trip to Japan a couple of years ago, and we rented the equivalent of a Yaris. I guess what do they call that? A Vitz, and it was kind of perfect in every way. It was not too big, not too small, good enough for the highway. And all I could think of after the fact was, next time I'm definitely renting a K-Van. They're everywhere in Tokyo, as you'd expect, and they're so sweet.
I want to point out that this one has a snowplow on it, which is
I didn't know
excellent. A working van.
Yeah, sure.
And also, there's a company in Poto, Oklahoma that builds these for city use only. They're called Tiger Trucks, and they make the van just like this, and they make a truck version. You know, the mini truck.
Yeah.
And the tiger emblem is entirely ripped off from the Federation from Star Trek. So it's pretty great.
Nice. I like it. I mean, these are mid or rear engine, usually 660cc, some of them 4-wheel drive, usually a cab over design, extremely efficient packaging, what with no safety or, crumple impact zone kind of thing. Great car. Probably can't bring one to Lemons because too small.
Yes.
But use it as your paddock vehicle. All right. Or Lemons Rally.
There you go. Is that a mighty Cordoba?
Sound?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, I don't have the Cordoba sound effect queued up. I mean, we've spoken at length about the Cordoba, a fine Lemons car. Personal luxury coupe available with various incredibly inefficient and not very powerful V8s.
Yeah.
Fine Corinthian leather. Another Star Trek connection with Ricardo Montalban. Raised white letters, also bonus points for this particular model.
Yeah, I love that the side marker on the front is like a foot long also.
Yeah.
These are
did American companies do that out of spite, like federally mandated lighting? Fine, and we'll make it 2 feet long.
I don't know. I think it's a matter of trying to get the proportions right, and this car is just so gigantic.
Right. And the bumpers had to be huge. So yeah, you might be right about that. So
I've always loved, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the taillights on the Cordoba are round. I think it's got 4 round. No, never mind.
I think I'm picturing a full width, sort of, single bar taillight situation.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Depend on year.
I think the early ones, one of these late B bodies had a square headlights, completely round taillights in the whole front front designer, back designer.
Yeah. Although with a car like this, what are the odds you're going to see the front and the back within a short time period? You know,
I think that
it'll be hours later, and by then you will have forgotten. Like, hey, what the headlights square around? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Another car, arguably better suited for the Lemons Rally than the Lemons Race. Oh boy. It's a Henry J.
Yep.
Totally sweet. Definitely a car we've never seen in Lemons. Although Lemons people have known to be Henry J owners, the builder of the License to Ill mini truck with the stereo system in it. He is a Henry J owner and has brought the car to show off at a Lemons race. It's an incredibly rudimentary vehicle.
Yeah.
So,
the whole Kaiser story is so messed up and weird. Basically, dude who made all his money as a shipping magnate during World War II was like, I should probably build cars.
Yeah.
And started a car company from scratch. Had some really good, interesting ideas, and a lot of the interior styling kind of was crucial to the 1950s aesthetic. But God, they were crap. Like, they were just terrible cars.
Well, they had flatheads, most if not all of them, I believe. Yeah. And then I think the Henry J in particular was the entry level model. They had fancier ones, and the Henry J was the small, compact, whatever commuter car. And boy, the level of manufacturing is like the most low end spec of folded tin for parts kind of situation, but they looked cool for what they were, and they have somewhat of a drag racing following, presumably because they're smaller and lighter weight. God, can you imagine going fast in one of these things?
Nope. That's fast in one of these is 60. So
right. So anyway, pretty cool car.
Famously, one of the few cars you could buy from Sears. They made
there you go.
Allstate.
Yeah, right. Boy, we were just talking about that, about vehicles that you could buy through Sears and or rewards. And there was all kinds of stuff. Italian scooters and motorcycles, Lambrettas, Vespas, Benelli, I think you could get as a Montgomery Wards. Riverside was Montgomery Ward's brand, and Allstate was Sears' brand. Now that's a good Lemons theme. Bring an Allstate Henry J and an Allstate Vespa as a pit bike.
Dang.
King of the road. And of course, Allstate appliances and whatnot. Which actually, why doesn't Kirkland Signature make a car? And why wouldn't it be? It would be a Nissan Altima. I mean, what else would it be? But it's the same thing. I mean, you can get Kirkland Signature food and appliances and whatever else. They have not crossed over into the vehicles, which Sears and Montgomery Wards did in that era. So, man. Kirkland Signature branded Altima. Do it. All right. We got a sneak preview of this baby, a Ranchero. Yeah. Boy, I have a neighbor who has one of these. 429 Cobra Jet. It's quite a machine. Now, the early Rancheros were based on the Falcon. And then there was a Fairlane Ranchero. And then there was this, which I think is yet another basis, isn't it? It's like an LTD or something like that.
Yeah, it looks like an LTD or an Elite or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the end of the 70s was for Ford's full size. I mean, it's pretty big.
Yeah, it's a large vehicle. Man, pretty sweet. I mean, definitely evocative of the times.
Yeah, it's got all of the hallmarks. It's got the turbine wheels. It's got the gold striping over green in the most like 70s applique.
Yeah. Green for the money and gold for the honey, as they say.
That's right. Well, I mean, you can fit a whole truck bed full of honeys.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then it's got the nose that was, has the seam that is
Right.
vertically grafted on.
Yeah.
It's like an afterthought with giant,
totally.
federal bumpers. So yeah, this thing's hella sweet.
It's pretty sweet.
Cage it.
Yeah, cage it, race it, done.
Yeah.
We've never seen one of this generation, I don't think.
No, we've only seen early Rancheros.
Right.
There's one that's a 65, which I think is the Fairlane.
Right.
And then Universe has the 62, 63.
Yeah, the earlier round body.
Yeah, the Falcon one.
Yeah. So there you go. Car that we've never seen in Lemons. There's one every week.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Oh man, paging Armand Bengal. Armand Bengal, longtime Lemon staffer on the West Coast and Francophile. And despite being a Francophile, he does not own a French car. But whenever a 505 shows up on Craigslist, which is like once every 7 years, he says, "Hey, should I buy this?" And he never does. I think he should.
Yep. Dang. I mean, what else can you say about it? Look at that. They look great. Yeah. They apparently go like stink for a minute.
Well, there's
the turbo one. Yeah.
You could get, the turbo one is the one to get. There's a V6, which is a PRV, which I think is not the one to get.
Yeah.
Then there's the non-turbo 4-cylinder, which I think is long-lived but not powerful. And then there's possibly a diesel.
Yeah, which you don't want.
Which you definitely don't want.
Yeah.
We've seen a 505 or two at least, sedan in Lemons, and they're really good looking cars. I think compared to an E28, I think I'd give the styling edge to the Peugeot.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, they're both very simple, boxy designs, but the Peugeot's details, I think, are a little better. And we've never seen a wagon, so you could bring that.
It's a good plan.
Very cool. All right, next up, are we back in Laguna S3 territory? No, this is a Dodge of some kind.
This is the Magnum.
Oh, yeah. Wait, did you own a Magnum?
I did own a Magnum that I was building for Lemons until it fell apart. It literally folded in half.
Just sitting there?
On jack stands, yeah. I had on jack stands and it collapsed in the middle. Was similar to this, although mine was obviously much rustier, although this one probably isn't much better underneath. The weird thing to me has always been the way the front fender extends into the door with yon pontoon.
Yeah. How is that accomplished? Like, is that factory just surfboard foam, or is it actually a stamping that makes the door come out farther?
It is actually how they stamp the door, which is great because this is obviously the rare exception, but usually the door has sagged like 3.5 inches. So
well, I'm sure it would if you opened it.
Yeah. But yeah, on mine, it definitely wasn't anywhere remotely lined up. So.
Obviously extra points for the slot mags, and not only slot mags, but the proper tire fitment, especially in the back. I mean, look at that's just like a perfectly square, 315 70 14 or some ridiculous size that only existed in the 70s and 80s. That's pretty cool.
These had flip up headlights in the front. They had the masked headlights with a motor that burned out immediately. And then the one I had a T-bar roof, which is T-tops. It's the Chrysler, branding for that. It was where it broke. Like it broke between the T-tops.
Almost as if the roof is an important part of the structure of a vehicle.
Yeah, it was strange thought. But yeah, the whole floor of mine was rusted out, like all the way from the firewall to the back seat. Yeah. And I was building it, and it decided it wasn't going to be built for any such thing.
In the middle of the night. Yeah.
It's like a bridge. Yeah.
Well, maybe it saved you from future headaches.
It probably did, yeah. But we still haven't seen one of these.
Right, exactly. I mean, Cordobas are thick on the ground compared to these. So,
right.
Yeah, make it happen.
2-0.
Yeah. All right. Oh, we've got our choice of some vehicles here. Oh, man. Some kind of Buick. Is it a Riviera?
It looks like a Riv or, yeah.
And 3 Yugos.
Yeah. There's a story there. There's a story of ownership somewhere in there.
This has all of the hallmarks of a gentleman who has beat the system. For those unfamiliar, we have a concept in Lemons of beating the system, where doing things the obvious way, which is buying a Japanese car or whatever, or in the 80s, it would still be buying a Japanese car. This gentleman says, no, you guys have got it all wrong with your Camry or whatever. Like, I have figured out that for certain trips you need a Riviera with a 455, and for everything else you need 3 separate different Yugos, and it's all part of a system that works better than a single Toyota. And I
can't fault the logic there.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose the question of the Yugos is it, did he acquire more to keep one running, or did he acquire more because he liked them, or what? Is it like a Stockholm syndrome?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, a Yugo, certainly after a certain point in time, you become the Yugo guy. Right, and every time one shows up, either somebody tells you about it or you found it yourself and feel obligated to get it, because they don't make them anymore. So better hold on to the ones that still exist. So, I mean, I think that part of it makes sense. I just would like to know how it ties in with the Riviera.
Yeah. I'm thinking of this in terms of like the sunk cost fallacy, which if you're somebody who's bought a Yugo, you're a cheap person to begin with. Right.
You're willing to sacrifice everything: function, comfort, reliability, performance, for the sheer purpose of saving like not that much money.
Yeah. So then you acquire this Yugo, and you're dedicated to the Yugo life, hashtag Yugo life. And then it becomes an acquisition problem. We've seen this with Geo Metros on this show, a whole bunch.
Very similar.
A field full of Geo Metros or Ford Festivas.
Yeah, it's less common to have one than it is to have 3.
Or 9 or whatever.
Or 47,
Yeah, so to keep one running, you have 14 cars.
Somebody other than us, look up and tell us in the comments what the price difference was, the MSRP between a Yugo and a Golf and a Civic and an
Escort.
Festiva. Escort. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it's not that significant, and certainly not significant enough to justify actually buying a Yugo.
Yeah.
But for some people, if it says cheapest, that's the choice.
Yeah.
All right. Oh boy. Speaking of French cars, this is an Eagle Premier.
Yeah.
Almost said medallion. It's a Renault whatever. I never remember, and you always remember which Renault this is.
I think it's a 25, but 25, I'm not. It's either a 25 or a 19.
Yeah. God. Observe the styling of this.
Yeah, it is. It's like they took the French car it was based on and like decided they needed to mix it up with, I don't know, like a 79 Fairmont, just make straight lines out of everything that was the sculpted bit.
To be fair, I think the Renault was also really, I mean, you picture the French as making crazy things. Like, Google an image of a Citroën Ami 6 sedan, not the wagon, but the sedan.
Yeah.
And it looks like, a mid-century modern cartoon drawing. And then they came with this. So, did they lose their sense of style, or was this like a weird attempt at irony by them? I don't know, but it got less interesting by a significant margin. And then it went weird again, because then after this, you've got things like the Renault Oven Team.
Right.
So, I don't know. They kind of lost their mojo, or they were doing something intentional as a statement that the meaning of which has since been lost to the sands of time.
Yeah. The car itself, by the way, I think you could get the AMC 4-cylinder in it, or the PRV V6. And we've talked about it on the show before. That's the engine the DeLorean guys want, because it is the big block or the high output
it's
one.
A special version. Yeah, externally the same as the PRV and the DeLorean, but it's some kind of moderately upgraded version.
Yeah, it's like 12 more horsepower or something.
Yeah. Now, here's an idea for a Lemons group team is all of the Eagles. That's super easy. Eagle Premier, Eagle Talon, which would be the performance.
That's the easy one.
Yeah, that's the easy one. Eagle. What's a Summit? It's like a little van.
Mirage. There was the Summit and the Summit Wagon, which are different cars.
Two different cars. Right. One is the little like an Expo LRV style, and then the other one was like a little like a Mitsubishi Mirage, and then the earlier Eagle, 4x4 wagon. You could have that either as a race car or as a tow vehicle.
Nick, you're forgetting one.
Summit, Talon. Eagle Premier. I don't know. You'll have to enlighten me.
That's the Eagle Vision. The LH platform.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, bring a little Concorde into your Eagle team. Yeah. Well, there you go. For all of you that are running, a stable of 4 Miatas, I think you know what to do.
Yeah. Point out, by the way, this thing is like in concours condition. This is somebody's baby. That is in stellar shape for a car like this.
Nice. Yeah, that is nice. All right. Next up. Oh, man. It's a Dart or Valiant.
The Valiant, I think, or maybe the next size up from there. It's hard to tell. Or is it? No, it's a Valiant.
And, first of all, great. It's an overused word, but it does have great patina. Ride height, wheel package, totally spot on. Yeah. And then, again, look at the adventurousness in the styling. And, they really deserve credit for that. I think it might be an accident that it looks cool because they just sort of put everything on it. But it does. It looks cool.
Yeah, I love this era of American compact design.
Yeah, and especially Chrysler. Chrysler, I think, had the coolest stuff. Yeah,
the fins, which this is the just after we put fins on every surface version of it. So it's like a 63, something like that.
Yeah.
But, it still has enough of that curviness. It's still got the ridges. It looks really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Yep, pretty neat. And last car for the week. P1800 YU Rune Classic.
Yep.
Now, have we had a P1800 race in Lemons?
Yeah, we had one on the West Coast. It was blue. It was like a dark. It's like a blue patinaed.
Yeah.
The same guys who I think they crashed it and they put everything in an Amazon.
Right. Yeah, because mechanically they're very similar. Volvo B Series 4-cylinder, which they made that thing well into the 80s, if not 90s, in some form or another. So engine not really a problem. This one's abandoned. It could be a race car.
Yeah, this looks like it's sitting on a farm, which is it's like the classic thing where these things end up on farms because the farmer just acquires it without really knowing what to do with it. And then you're having grown up there on a farm in the middle of nowhere, you're 100 miles away from a Volvo dealership.
Yeah.
And there's no ability to fix the car if you don't know exactly what you're doing.
Right.
So,
Right. Well, and this car, it's sort of got 4 possible outcomes. One is just sitting where it is forever. 2 is somebody buys the farm and immediately throws it in the trash.
Right.
3 is a real restoration, which, as always, somebody in the comments says, oh, it deserves that. Well, yeah, maybe it does, but are you volunteering to spend the tens of thousands of dollars to restore it? Or option 4, make it a Lemons car, which I would argue is better than options 1 and 2 and doesn't cost nearly as much as option 3.
Yep. I agree with all of that. Yep. This one looks like it's pretty far beyond restoration.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what the rust situation is underneath? One of the comments in the original post does say you could, if you could get it for under $500, you could Lemons race it. Very true. I will also add, the judges will not sweat you if you have to spend a little more than $500. And the most important thing for something like this is that we see it on the racetrack.
Yeah. Hella cool. These things, they look great too.
Yeah.
I don't know if that angle necessarily is its best angle, but they are spectacular cars to look at.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. That does it for this week. I've got the hooptiest, and there was a hoopty car that showed up earlier, and it is the Henry J. Because it was hoopty when it was new, and now it's all falling apart. I mean, the whole back is coming off. It's all cattywampus. Somebody has ostensibly, quote unquote, rescued it because it's on a trailer. I mean, it was clearly abandoned outdoors prior to that. Maybe this person's turning into a Lemons car. If not this person, someone else should do it. So that's the hooptiest.
The fender falling off is especially great, and I think the door is not attached to anything at the bottom. This one's pretty far gone. I would like to make the daily double, but I got a request for the Lemons build that somebody picks up where I left off and brings a Dodge Magnum to
a personal connection.
Personal connection.
Well, it's been attempted but not accomplished, is what you're saying, and it's out there for the taking.
I mean, there's some low hanging fruit for a theme if you want. Anything Magnum related. That is a deep well to go down, but country music star Marty Robbins raced a Dodge Magnum in NASCAR in a garish yellow and purple livery.
Did he have a signature song that you're aware of? Because I must say I'm not familiar with country star Marty Robbins.
Oh man, El Paso is Marty Robbins.
All right.
Yeah. So just Google Marty Robbins Dodge Magnum. You will see exactly what I'm talking about. And you'd be like, well, I need that in my life. So
yeah. There you go. Once again, we're leaving you off with a very clear mission to accomplish for Lemons Race. So that'll do it for this week. Keep tagging your posts with Lemons Car Spotting, and we'll talk about it right here. Got to keep the slot mags, obviously.
Yeah. Slot mags and opera windows. It's a thing.